Hello rat bags, it's Jade Plays Games back with another Atlas video. Atlas? Are you sure it's Atlas, Jade? It's not Ark? No, it's Atlas. It's definitely Atlas. Atlas has been delayed. The game's not even out and we've already got that first delay. The game has been put back from the 13th of December, so Thursday, to the 19th, next Wednesday. So it won't be coming out to the 19th of December on PC. And just for the usual people that ask every single time in comments because they don't look, it's not coming to the PS4 yet, and it does look like it's going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive. Now, Ark was very much labelled the same way until they officially announced it coming to PS4, but that didn't happen for a good 18 months after launch. So, don't expect any more information about the PS4 launch for a good few while. Looks like they really are trying to just get it on PC first, which they're struggling to do, as this GIF demonstrates. So in the statement from the grapeshot team, ahoy, after thinking carefully over the past several days, we've decided to delay the Atlas launch until December the 19th to give the team more time to run through this massive game's extensive content. It's a vast virtual world out there across the Atlas, and the team's going to use that extra time to review every portion of it thoroughly. We're sorry about the delay, and we know how much everyone is looking forward to establishing their empires. The team here at grapeshot is so excited to bring this new world to life with you, and we know it's going to be an absolute blast, so please keep your powder dry a little longer, and at long last, next Wednesday the 19th, we'll be joining you on the most excellent adventure of our lifetimes. See you on Atlas soon, Pathfinders, Jack, Jeremy and Jesse. Wow, so as I said, the game's not even out yet and we've already got a delay. I don't think that really bugs me that much. The game's only just been announced officially. It's not like it's something we've been expecting for years, so people getting salty or upset over it, I could totally agree that it's a bit overwrought. You don't need to be upset about something you had no expectations of. However, I understand also that some people are super die-hard fans and they probably would have booked a day off. Who knows, they would have done some normal, really stupid shit to maybe go and make sure they're ready for this game. I even changed the day I was picking up my son so I could actually cover the footage of this game. So, you know, I'm one of them dickheads. But anyway, it is just showing that I think it's not a good start, and Wildcard have got stuff to do. Now remember, this is grapeshot, but it is exactly the same team that created Wildcard. In fact, many members of the Wildcard team are now over at grapeshot, and it's just not the best way to start. This isn't going to be a big rant video. I'm not about to shit all over Atlas. I am getting more excited by the possibility of this game. I can't help it. When you see and read something in a Steam forum or you see pictures of it, you're often thinking, oh man, this does sound pretty good. However, I realise the history of Wildcard and Ark dictates that this game is going to have very similar development. So if you're new to Ark, you've never played Ark before, but you're really intrigued to buy Atlas, just know the previous game that they released had a long history of delays, cancellations, not communicating with the fans, and that persisted. It got worse and worse and worse, and so the last year has probably been the worst in Ark's history. On the positive side, we can maybe look at that and say, you know what, they've learned, they've surely seen the criticism that's come their way, and they're going to make sure this game doesn't fall into the same problems and issues that the previous game had. On the negative side, people are going to view Atlas and still continue to view it as a bit of a cash grab, something that the developers aren't that passionate about, and maybe they're just doing it on the quick to make some money. Doesn't help when they keep reusing assets, and that's the big running theme I'm seeing from a lot of people. As we're seeing more screenshots coming out, the developers have been tweeting a bunch of stuff every single day. More and more people are realising how many of the assets, how much of the Ark code is actually in the brand new game. Now personally, I don't always have a problem with this. I don't like defending Wildcard sometimes, but I will if I do think something's a little bit unfair. You think of Assassin's Creed, how many years has that gone on? They've had the same character models, just spruced up a little bit. Even the last one, Origins to Odyssey, there was a big widespread criticism that they used wholesale big building pieces, village pieces, all from that game to put in. It happens. You've got big franchises, you're going to run with the same content, and as we know from Fallout 76, that can really come back to bite you on the arse if you haven't fixed the core problems. So hopefully Atlas has learned. They may have seen what happened with Fallout 76 as well, and maybe they've realised that they can definitely use old assets. They can reskin stuff, they can make it look better, prettier, make the systems run a little bit better, but don't make sure you have a game that has all the big huge problems from the previous one here. That's something that gamers just won't stand for. And you can agree and you can disagree with that, whether or not it's reskins, whether or not it's right, wrong, etc. I only have a problem with reskins when it is definitely a cash grab, and they normally come from small studios who are reusing stuff they've not even created in the first place. Remember, Wildcards, Grapeshot, whoever the hell you want to call them, they did create most of this stuff, or the modders they employed created most of this stuff. So I've got not real problem with reused assets, I've got no real problem with reused functions if it brings the game into something new territory. If the game mechanics are brand new, like we've seen with the 40,000 players on the servers, and the fact that it's all going to be just big servers, one big server for PvP, one big server for PvE, I'm down with that, I can live with that. But just be aware, if you're new, don't expect this game's development to go smoothly. Not many games development does, but more often than not, Wildcard will confound and puzzle you with decisions they make, or sometimes with the silences that they actually give. But there is a bunch of information we can find from the screenshots they've been posting, including this, a Gorgon. So a Gorgon is pretty much a lizard man, a snake man, and that's what it's got. It's obviously got its great big scaly tail, and then it's got the arms. It's pretty cool to see some new creatures in the game. I mean, that's the biggest thing about Ark, why most people love it, is the sheer choice and sheer way you've got so many different creatures. There's going to be at least 50 creatures at launch for Atlas, and that seems quite small considering I think Ark launched with 60, and by the end I think it's got well over 130 creatures in the game now. But nevertheless, 50 creatures spread out across that big map, that seems, yeah, a little bit light. And if they have had to reskin stuff, I wouldn't mind if they did put just some old creatures in there, just to make sure that the world, it does feel alive and it is quite vibrant. Couple other things obviously to note as well is the impact of ruins. Now ruins have been added into Ark for a while now, but it looks like they're going to be going even bigger and deeper with the ruin systems. Very much modelled on Greece here, that's the feeling I'm getting. And we can see there's been a lot of love put into maybe the guns. Now the blunderbuss was something from Primitive Plus that was supposedly talked about for months and months and months, and it never really came. Basically it is the shotgun of the 17th, 18th centuries. So it looks like it's got a hell of a lot of detail, and I am pretty impressed with the amount of detail. I think Ark has always looked great. That's one thing I will never say bad about Ark, apart from times it doesn't run correctly on consoles. When it's working well, you really do get a lot of fantastic visuals, and the environments are always great as well. The dinosaurs have been pretty superb too. I've always loved the character models, I've always thought they were pretty top notch. So I really like the idea that we've got even more detail on these guns. Another thing to note as well is the flaming swords that I don't think a lot of people might have mentioned, but there does appear to be some sort of flaming sword, so maybe you're going to be able to imbue your weapons with elemental effects, put charges on them, maybe that's something part of it. There is a much more robust skill tree in Atlas, supposedly going by the Steam description. They're going to have over 50 different skill sets or something like that. I could be hyping it up way too much, but there's definitely a lot of skills and attributes in there, so maybe some of them lead to smithing. Remember, an MMO operates on the basis that you will choose a path to go down, and so you may become someone who makes weapons, you may become someone who's just pure pirate, you may become an upstanding citizen, but either way there's going to be skills and attributes that help you in how you want to play the game. Maybe it's getting XP for crafting, maybe it's getting XP for killing. So maybe some of this stuff is unique to some people only that have gone down that path. And here again we can see even more of the glowing swords. Now if you don't know, this is the Army of the Damned. Now the Army of the Damned is pretty much where you're going to be able to get hold of NPCs. You will be able to recruit NPCs from free towns as well, but you can rescue them off their ships. Now these are going to be rolling around on their ships in the waters, and it's going to be a case of trying to sink them or hijack them. Now I didn't realise that they're also going to be running around the cave system, so it looks like it is going to be maybe one of the main enemy types we're going to be facing in the game. The fact that it's on the seas, the fact that it's also in the land as well, really strengthens to me that this is going to be the main bad guys. I like as well that they're all quite varied and different. Like this one's got some sort of crustacean on his head, this one's got more or less a normal face, and this one's got like he's gone full on Treant. That's what I'm seeing here. Oh, maybe it's armor. It looks a bit like armor. The armor looks pretty fantastical as well. Remember, it's a big mix of mythological stuff as well as piratey stuff. Again, the attention to detail on some of these items, the clothing items, looks fantastic. I'm really impressed with how the armors look and the way that it's, you know, the buckles are shiny and everything's there. The shields look pretty good as well. You can customize that and put your logo or your banner or something on it. That'd be pretty cool too. Overall, the cave, it's just a cave. Like, what do you want me to say? It's a cave. There you go. It's a very nice cave. So this one's probably going to make role players melt. Loads of stuff going on here, of course. We've got the skeleton being hanged, so he's already been hanged twice. Got the dude here, it's like punishment. That would be crazy if you get arrested and you can actually be, you know, executed for crimes against the state. That would be pretty cool. I am loving these buildings. Now, these buildings don't, to me, look like they've been built. They look like they are already there, particularly because it's obviously got the ivy and the reeds going on it. So there is going to be free towns, and this looks like this is a free town. This isn't a player built structure, so it's a bit interesting how this is going to play out. The free towns are meant to be like the starting areas, the NPC areas, where you're meant to just be okay. You're not going to be killed by any sort of mythological creature straight away. And obviously there's a lot going on here. We've got lots of auction house nearby, all sorts of things happening here, lots of players around. Someone's either laying down or they're getting punched out, and of course character customization looks like it's going to be similar to Ark, although hopefully you won't be able to make too much of an ugly character. You can see the shortness of the executioner here against some of the other characters, other players, so that does mean that maybe they're returning some of the features from creating your character, like size and height and stuff like that, which is important for role players. Also horse carriage, you know, big stuff. In Ark we had the tech car, the tech Jeep, and it was awful. It was still buggy. It still doesn't work correctly now. They've not even fixed the sound. They've had that in the game like 2 years, and the sound whenever you jump into the buggy on Ark, it makes the most horrendous sound ever. They still haven't fixed that. So hopefully that won't be the same case with these carriages. But obviously you can see they've been drawn by horses. I think originally in the original leak trailer from 4 months ago it was drawn, or there was a sort of carriage style or cannon being drawn by a bear, but maybe they've toned it down a little bit. Maybe only horses can do this now. An interesting way. If they've got this right running around in a carriage, being holed up by someone and being robbed on the highway, it sparks the imagination for me. It really does. Of course, we've got the customization as well with the signs. So eggs plus chickens, you're going to be able to customize and do what you want. It looks like it's going to be much more robust in terms of how much colors you can use, and the signs look pretty big there as well. We've got some sort of bird up here. We don't know if that's like an eagle, or it looks quite big, maybe like a pheasant or something like that. And overall, although it's only small, there are a few different types of armor styles here, or cosmetic items. You've got a vest and an overbelt. We've got just a belt, a harness by the looks of things here as well. Then of course we have got like the Admiral suit there, and that looks like it's pretty similar as well. Got longer trousers or longer leggings, and then we've got sort of shorter trousers as well. So pretty interesting how they got it. Got another horse in the background as well. Horses look massive. They look like proper horses, you know, that, you know, this isn't the Equus Dino, this is a proper size, big, massive, massive horse. And just a few things that you may have noticed from the trailer and stuff like that, but these boats look pretty epic. In terms of the style of them, you've got like the galleons, and then you've got like the brigantines as well, I do believe, and stuff like that. So it's pretty epic. The Wyvern is definitely, or dragon I should call it, is obviously much changed from the Wyverns we're used to. It looks bigger. In fact, it looks more like the dragon end boss in Ark than it does any type of Wyvern. Now, something you might have missed as well from the promo art that's been going around. Now remember, this is concept. There has been cases in the past where the concept has changed. Famously, there has been a rider put on one of the creatures in Ark that wasn't allowed a rider, and this screenshot materialised ages ago. But looks like obviously you're going to be able to ride the dragons here, and look at this, flying boats in Atlas. That seems pretty mad. Again, looks like an idea borrowed heavily from some of the mods. I'm going to be talking to you guys about the mods that have made up Atlas. It seems like the sponsored mod program has been very influenced, or is influencing Atlas's development. It looks like they've taken a bunch of the core ideas from the mod systems, and maybe that's what they've paid for by sponsoring the mods. If you don't know, the sponsored mod program is a program where they gave modders $4,000 a month to work on their mods, as long as they can obviously own the rights to it and stuff. And obviously, if you haven't noticed, we have got obviously the mermaids, and then we've got big huge octopus and stuff like that. So, but that was the one that I hadn't really covered before, or I hadn't really noticed, was the fact that we have got great big massive airships. And lastly, just returning to this one, it has obviously borrowed the climbing hooks from Ark. Now these have caused a massive problem in Ark because there's accusations of cheating. They basically got taken out of some of the DLC and some of the game because people were using them to cheat, and they were basically getting in between the mesh. They were under meshing or under mapping, and that's what the big problem with climbing hooks were. So it looks like they're going to be implemented for Atlas. Let's hope they're not going to have the same problems and issues that Ark had with them. Also to note in this picture, of course, is we've got like this bird type, and again looks like we've got more ruins. I'm still going with ruins rather than a build, although it has to be said this one doesn't appear to have any sort of ivy growing exactly on the house, so it'd be really cool if this is something you can build yourself. You can place structures and the building pieces in certain spots. One thing of course though to really notice is the tiger or the lion that is down here. That is to me a definite tiger, people. I've seen a couple of people say no, it's a bear, but that to me is some sort of tiger or some sort of lion. You know, it doesn't look too fantastical. It hasn't got like a snake's tail coming out with it or a scorpion's tail, so I don't think it's, I can't remember the name of that creature, but it does look like it's some sort of lion or tiger with the stripes. A big one at that, a very big one, but there you go. So that is everything there is to know about Atlas at the moment. Delayed release already, lots of pictures on the website and on Steam, go and check it out for yourself. And as you can see, the Atlas countdown has now been changed to 8 days. I will be there to show you, love it or hate it. I am going to give you guys my honest opinion on Atlas and whether or not it's learned its lessons from Ark or it's still continuing the same poor end of game development that Ark suffered in the last year. I am Jade Plays Games. Like or dislike this video, I'll see you right back soon.